Hello and welcome to Finextra. I'm Emily Horler and I'm here with Stacey English of Thomson Reuters, and we're talking about the Culture and Conduct Risk Special Report. Stacey, thank you for joining me.
It's a pleasure, thank you.
Regulators are increasingly focusing on culture and conduct in companies. What's your view on this and the progress that the industry's made?
Regulators have been focused on culture and conduct for several years now, so firms have been on this journey for a while, but it's clear that there's much progress still to be made. What there is fundamental agreement that it's absolutely vital to achieve good outcomes for customers, but it's a very qualitative concept. There is no one approach, there's no set of rules to follow. So that's why the sort of benchmarking that we've been doing is really crucial for firms to understand what's going on in the industry and what their peers are doing. So we're seeing some encouraging signs of progress. We've seen over half of firms telling us that they've actually got a framework that's robust and embedded or implemented, albeit needing resources. But the part where they're really struggling is with the definition of what it means to their firm, and regulators have been absolutely certain that they're not going to define what conduct risk means. It really is down to the individual firm to determine what it means for their business. So on one hand, we've got a fifth of firms telling us that they have a working definition. So that's an awful lot of firms that haven't even defined it. In the larger firms who've been doing this for a lot longer, so the global systemically important ones, is over 2/3, so a much better picture for them to kind of know what they're working to. So the good news is there is some international agreement about what the components of conduct risk are. So there is something for firms to focus on and work to. They are corporate governance and tone from the top, culture, ethics and integrity, and conflicts of interest.
So looking ahead, what's the biggest challenge that the industry faces in managing culture and conduct?
Without doubt, it's the changing regulatory environment for a number of reasons. We've got the pace of change is relentless. We've seen a fourfold increase over the last 4 years of alerts and developments coming out from regulators. We've got political uncertainty, so what is Brexit and the Trump presidency going to mean for existing regulation and future rules? And of course it's a critical year for the implementation of major regulatory reforms, not least MiFID II and the General Data Protection Regulation, which come into effect in 2018, all of which are requiring resources to interpret and implement those rules this year. But the biggest practical challenge is in measuring conduct risk, because it's a qualitative concept, because there isn't a single measure that measures it. Firms are having to identify a range of measures to report to their board on what the conduct risk issues are. So the sorts of measures they're using, most popular are results of compliance monitoring and results of internal audit reviews, closely followed by complaints analysis and staff opinion survey results.
So given all the regulatory attention, how has this changed the role of compliance?
The role of the compliance officer has evolved hugely. The pressures and expectations on the role and the remit has expanded significantly. We're seeing areas like cyber resilience, technology risk now falling within the compliance officer's remit simply because of the impact on customers when things go wrong. We know they're having to widen their skill sets to accommodate developments in regtech and fintech, and of course conduct is so all-encompassing that it affects everything the firm does and everybody in it, so it's changed significantly. In terms of who's leading on the implementation of conduct risk management and the policy, we've seen that change over the years, and whilst there's these growing expectations around personal liability of senior management, it's very much compliance who are taking the lead in owning the policy and implementing it. We have asked some questions around sort of what's the actual impact on the wider business, and we've seen that most firms, so 77% of firms, are actually actively discussing conduct when they're talking about their strategy, and a third have actually chosen not to pursue a particular line of business, however profitable, because of conduct concerns. So however firms choose to implement conduct risk management culture, and whoever leads, it's definitely having a wider impact on the business.
Stacey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.